It appears I am live. Testing, testing. Okay, the audio system is working. Hello, everyone. Welcome to a very weird episode of Shadows of Men. So, currently it is very late where I am because we ran into the biggest technical issue that this channel has ever seen. My audio during the recording of episode 34 of the Shadows of Men, which I am going to name a Simple Truth, is was not recorded and therefore the entire stream was missing the entire bit of my audio. So, unfortunately, that means that there's no way to recover it at all. But what I can do as a substitute, and I know this isn't as good, is to give you guys a recap of what happens so you're not missing anything. I apologize for this inconvenience. We are working to make sure it never happens again. So with that said, let's get into a simple truth. The party started out resting in Vomertown, where they made their way to Fibbletown after waking up the next day. It was a 4-day journey where they encountered no enemy undead. From there, they made their way to Fibbletown, where the entire population was gone. They were all taken for the Eloquent tribute. They were all part of the Soul Crystal now. They made their way to the cave where the gems that Lord Talon delivered to the Lich were taken through in order to reach his castle. They faced several traps and opponents, including a teleportation puzzle using arcane crystals and bone claws, creatures that tried to become liches by putting their soul in the phylactery, but failed. The party worked hard and managed to overcome all these obstacles and found the way into the Lich's castle. They would have faced several deadly traps and gained many benefits if they'd survived them. But fortunately for them, they had found a mirror containing the soul of Thul's mentor, a man by the name of... One second, I'm going to check my notes. We'll check your notes, folks. A man by the name of... Archmage Brock Cortland. He had been alive about 500 years ago. He was Thul's master until Thul had betrayed him and sealing his soul in the mirror, then becoming the Lich and working with Lord Demetrius, overtook the kingdom, now the Empire of Thul, and created the Eternal Night and Winter. With his guidance, they found out that Thul had created rods to access his throne room in a puzzle where each rod had a school of magic and had to tie itself to the school of magic on the pedestals at the forefront of the castle on that floor. The party managed to do this and encountered Thul in his throne room. Thul had used magical influences to get Eloquent to go into the center of the room, and while the rest of the party fought his Death Knights, Eloquent fought Thul head on. It was a hard-fought fight, but in the end, Eloquent was victorious, as was the party. But before they could catch up to them, Lord Demetrius, having gained a time watch from Victor Steele and his new pet, Captain Fudo, beat Eloquent, saying that he hated Eloquent the most because he was a product of pity. He killed Eloquent. He left Eloquent to die. The party encountered him, wounded from their fight with the Death Knights. In his state, Eloquent was in that same limbo where radiant necrotic energy were taking over his body. Through the words of Tak, the master of the Monastery of the Faithless, he managed to find balance with himself. He was a member of the clergy of Kor. He was the light this world needed. He was Eloquent. Eloquent rose from his apparent death, and accepting who he is, had gained the boon of balance. He gained a black and white wing. His scythe could now do radiant damage as well as necrotic once he switched them. And he himself could use Radiant Soul and use some of his cleric spells from the Great Domain as well as cleric spells in general. Lord Demetrius activated the Soul Crystal powered by the Gem of Necromancy to unleash the Eternal Night in the world which would slowly kill it thanks to the gem's horrible properties. The group fought Lord Demetrius. Panan managed to gain control of her demonic self. Rosalind gaining a new weapon, the chain whip of war, given to her by the goddess of war. It was a hard-fought fight, but in the end, Valentine, arriving at the last second, managed to dispel the crystal that had powered the gem, ending the eternal night not just for the world, but for Thuland as well. And as for Demetrius, it was a hard-fought fight, but in the end, Eloquin delivered the final blow, destroying the Vampire Lord once and for all. As the sunlight rose, Rosalind accepted her fate, accepting that she had helped kill her father, but a twist had come to her. When she gained the whip, she was blessed by the god of war, and thus was made mortal, now a half-elf. For the first time, she felt the warmth of the sun on her face. Eloquin, using the last of his cleric spells, prepared a hero's feast, and she ate for the first time. That is where we ended the session, and I am sorry to everyone who watches this about how this turned out. I don't know what happened with my Streamlabs, but it was a mistake, and I am apologetic for all of it. We will endeavor in the future to make sure that this issue never happens again. But for now, our hope is that you will accept this recap as a sign that we don't want you to miss out on our story, but also that we strive to be better in the future. Thank you for those who watch, and for anyone who is up